Hi, so my business is called The Flourish Path, and I work with women who are looking to just level up and become the best version of themselves. I spent 12 years in corporate America before starting my company. I was in the automotive business for those 12 years. I was at corporate Nissan and corporate Chevy. Um, I spent like 10 of those years um, managing territories of dealerships as a dealer ops manager, as a district sales manager. And I handled anything that had to do with selling a car, running a dealership on the sales side. So, reviewing financials, websites, optimizing websites, helping to manage inventory, like you name it, I was in it. So I really saw a need for women in business. Being in the car business, I was absolutely like one of the only women there ever. Um, and that's just how it is for women in general in business. So when I started my company, I wanted to work like exclusively with women. Also, men are gross and use like your business and work as a way to try to hit on you. And I'm here to work, not date. So if I am doing like one-on-one coaching, I only work with women just because it's, yeah. uh, and women are overlooked in business. Women just don't get the support that men get. Men get respect. Men get what they want, basically just for showing up. Women have to outperform and still like get questioned and treated like they're less than. So I figured it would be really cool to offer just kind of like insight, tips, and tricks for entrepreneurs, things that I notice when I'm looking at like businesses and things that are kind of timely. I'll just be offering tips and tricks. Okay, so it's tax time. And when I was at Chevy, when I was at Nissan, like it was always like, okay, what are we going to do for tax time? Because we have people who are going to have more disposable income than usual. And I mean, right now in this economy, it's even more like blatant, like and pressing of a matter because disposable income is like shrinking as everything is super expensive. But that means everybody, like every good business at least, is fighting for these tax dollars right now. So I'm like, my mind is okay, what are you doing for tax time? And this is kind of going to span a few things. So you have to be like very strategic on what it is that you can offer. And because again, there's so many different areas, like businesses competing for that money. So you really have to show value. And especially in this economy, like people want to know that they're getting a good value for their money. So really, how are you communicating the value of your product? Like I'm a makeup girl, right? So if I see a $50 powder, you better tell me what exactly makes this $50 powder better than a $10 powder. Like I want to know that this one blurs, this one also has skincare ingredients. Like you really have to break it down and tell me the value of what you have. What differentiates your product, your offering from everybody else? Just saying like, here, I have this is not enough. You really need to sell the product, really sell what makes your product unique, what the value that people are getting is. And then also this, and I'll go deeper into this in probably another video. But look at your business model. So what I would be thinking right now, like I see a lot of hairstylists who are struggling because I mean I've always been a DIY girl just because like I have 3 kids. Like aside from like financially, like time wise, and I worked all the time, I was like, it was easier for me to just like do my own hair, do my own makeup kind of thing. And I enjoy it. But like I see a lot of hairstyles with like, our prices, it's harder to get people to come in because like they can't afford to pay up prices. But then with that, it's like you might have to raise your prices because you're not seeing the volume that you used to. So instead of seeing, 100 people a month, you might only see 75, which means you need to get a little extra money from each one of those 75 people, but that means your price is even higher, so it's even less attainable. So in business models, at a time like this, what I would be thinking if I was like a hairstylist or something like that is subscription services. So tax time is a time when people have more money. So it makes sense to, and again, when we're talking about value, it would make sense to say, like, hey, if you pay me X amount now, you can get your hair done every month for the next 6 months or something like that, because it's like, yes, I have more money now, but I still need to make this money count and I still need a value. So for me, I'm going to be much more inclined to get a subscription service because I know I don't usually have like this surplus of cash, but I have it now. And so if I can use the money that I have now and know I'm about to look good for the next 6 months and I don't have to worry about it, like I'm gonna do that. So really think about your business model. So if you don't offer like a subscription service, if you are like, a beauty provider, hairstylist, makeup artist, whatever it is, or kind of anything, like even if you have a boutique or something, you could do some kind of subscription service now where it's like, hey, give me this money now and you'll be able to come in once a month and spend X amount of money. Again, because it's like, especially if people have like kids and things like that and they have to budget, it's like, I know that I'm good for the next X number of months just off spending this money that I have now. So think about your business model and how you can really like get extra dollars, and it may not be just a one sell right now type of thing. Also, when it comes to pricing, something that I see online a lot is just really high prices with no explanation why your prices are so high. That sounds mean, I know. But it goes back to what I said before with like, this economy is crazy. People don't have disposable income. I'm a hair girl. So if you are trying to charge me $500 for this hair and I can get it on Amazon for $150, like, you better tell me exactly why I need to be paying $350 more for you. And so you better tell me like exactly like, okay, the quality of the hair system, you better show me, not just tell me, because we know there's a lot of scamming going on. But if that means reviews, if that means you yourself using the product and you documenting like time lapse, show me that this hair is gonna last for a year versus Amazon hair that might last for a couple months. Whatever it is that like your differentiation is and like why you're charging as much money for your product, you better explain. And if you are like a coach or something, because I see everybody's a coach now. If you're a coach, like, what are your certifications? Like, what's your experience? What's your training? Did you just decide one day that you want to be a coach because you did well and you think that a video of you in Miami, like in a nice car, is gonna like say that that means you're qualified? Because it doesn't. And people are tired of being scammed. Like, if you go to my website, like, I tell you what my experience is. I tell you my corporate experience. I tell you my professional training. I have certifications. Like, I tell you my college experience, like my college education, my degree. Like, you have to explain things, because in like this day and age when everybody is scamming, people want like results, and they want to see like why you deserve the money. And again, that's big, is like leading with the what's in it for me. That's always like kind of what I say is like how you should frame everything is like what is the benefit to the customer. Like let's say you're a skincare brand and your ingredients are all natural or something. Like, okay, cool, tell me they're all natural, but why does that matter? Okay, we're all natural ingredients, that means that it's better for sensitive skin, you're not going to break out. Like all these things that benefit the customer, because the customer has to decide that this is worth my money. So you really have to break down like what is in it for me. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to pricing real quick. So when people are charging like these really high prices, you really have to think about your pricing strategy. So make sure you're doing market research. Make sure that you know what your competitors are charging. Because if you're way high up there, again, you're gonna have to really be able to explain why you're really high up there, and your brand better back it up. Like if we think of luxury brands, like of course they've built that like reputation and following and all that, but it's, you know, looking at the experience. What does the customer experience look like? What does your website look like? What is your customer service like? You know, like those things. If you're going to be a luxe brand, you have to have a luxe experience, and people have to feel like, okay, this makes sense. I feel like this is a luxury service in every way. So just being very cohesive, and again, explaining like what makes you different. But when you are pricing, here's the thing I want you to like keep in mind is, especially in this economy, maybe everybody doesn't need to be luxe. Maybe everybody doesn't need to be a luxury brand. I mean, yes, luxury, or you make more money per customer, but just realize there are less customers in that group. It's the volume or the value. So you can either charge a premium and just know like, okay, I'm gonna charge $1,000, or I'm gonna make $1,000 gross profit off each customer, whatever. But that means maybe you're only gonna see 10 customers, because most people can't afford to pay that price that gets you that $1,000 per customer. So you're gonna walk away with $10,000, but you're only gonna get 10 customers, and it's gonna take you X amount of time, X amount of marketing dollars to find those people who have the money and who like align with your brand and your product, right? Whereas for that same $10,000, let's say you are only going to make $100 profit off each. Okay, you're opening yourself up to a wider group of people. Let's say cost of goods is, I don't know, $100. So you're gonna like overcharge people by 1,000 and charge $1,100 up here. Like, how many people can pay $1,100? Or you're gonna add $100 gross profit, so you're only charging $200 for the same good that cost you $100. How many people can afford $1,100 versus how many people can afford $200? So there's just a wider sea of people who can afford your offering, number one. So you're just gonna see more people. I tend to like kind of that more volume model. Okay, so in that example I gave you, let's say you still made 10,000 gross profit. If you were priced at $100 markup, so $100 gross profit, cost of good for you is $100, so you're charging $200, making $100 per person. versus you marking it up $1,000. Let's say same cost of good is $100, but you're marking it up $1,000, selling for $1,100 and making $1,000 per customer. So again, very small group of people can afford $1,100 versus people who can afford $200. So just your chances of having more people, more sales is higher. But let's say you did, so let's say you sold 10, and so you have a gross profit of $10,000 at that higher price point, with the $1,000 markup. Let's say you sell 100 different people with $100 markup, so you're still at that $10,000 gross profit. Here's why I still personally prefer the volume of just $100 markup. Number one is more people. So think of referrals. That's 100 more people who have friends, family members who could tell others about you. That is 100 opportunities for repeat customers. So they could come shop you again. Versus 10, you have 10 chances for referrals, 10 chances for repeat customers. And remember, we talked about value. Even people who have the money want to know that they're getting a good value. They're oftentimes the ones who care more about making sure that they're getting a good value. So if you're charging $1,000 over, I mean, maybe the value is there somehow. But when you are really like selling a good product and you're not like banging people upside the head to make a lot of money, and they're like, wow, like this is a reasonable price. I want to make sure I keep coming here. Like, I trust this person because they could have charged me more money. This might even be worth more, but like they're legit, so I want to keep shopping here. So that turns into loyal customers. That turns into customers who are going to be your cheerleader. And guess what that means for your marketing budget? That means that if you have people who are spreading the word for you, you don't have to spend as much to market because they're bringing customers to you. That means that, customer acquisition costs are going down because you're getting people literally in for free just off word of mouth. And then if you have social media presence, then of course, if you have people who are loyal to you, who love you, who think that like you sell great products at a good value, they're going to be commenting and engaging with your social media, and activity tends to breed activity, right? So if more people see like, hey, they have a lot of happy people, they have a lot of happy customers, like I feel like I can trust them. You get more reviews, all that good stuff. So that's why I tend to like kind of prefer the volume model over that kind of high price luxe game, because it's just tricky. Plus, like breaking into luxury market, it's just hard, right? Because again, you have to really, number one, have the product to back it up. Like your product better be good. And even when I talk about pricing, like cost, like your cost of goods definitely matters. But what you have to think about is the perceived value. What does the consumer perceive this value to be? And that's a lot of where there's kind of this space where I think that people might be pricing, not really taking into consideration that perceived value of the customer is lower than what they might think. So if I think that, $40 for a mascara is crazy, like there's nothing that is going to make me pay $40 for a mascara. You know what I mean? So just think about that when you're pricing. So market research, but even like asking people like, hey, what would you pay for this? Like, what do you think is a fair price for this? Because again, like especially in this day and age, in this economy, you want to make sure that people feel like they're getting a good value for their money and you're not taking advantage of them, because you might be pocketing a lot of money right now, but what is that doing to you long term? You're gonna have to spend more money marketing. You're gonna have, people who are bad mouthing you, maybe like, he charged me way more than he should have. So in the car business, we actually saw this during the pandemic. So car production was low because there was a microchip shortage. Microchips only came from like one place, like one factory or something. So like car companies couldn't produce nearly enough cars. Meanwhile, like interest rates are super low. People aren't going out because it's COVID. So like they have more disposable money, more like disposable income, and so they're not spending it like going out. So the demand is up here for cars. People are like, we want a car. And then it's like, oh no, the supply is down here. Like, we don't have cars. I'm sorry. So what does that mean is that the car dealers like could make tons of money. I know that people think that dealerships make a ton of money like on cars. They don't. On used things can be a little different, but when we talk about new cars, so it's like new cars, like we buy a brand new car, that dealership is not making money like you think on a new car. Like most dealerships are like breaking even basically on the sale of a new car or losing money. Like you think that the markup is thousands of dollars. It's not. Plus, once you like factor in costs like marketing and all that stuff, like you have no idea. But even like just cost of goods, like gross profit, before we add in the actual like expenses of a dealership, it's minimal on the sale of a new car. So all the dealers were like, okay, now is our time to shine because like demand is up here, supply is down here, and what's the law of supply and demand? When supply is high and demand is low, like it's hard to sell. You're gonna have to like cut costs and like figure something out to sell because you have a whole lot, but you don't have anybody who wants to buy it. When the opposite is true and you have high demand and low supply, that means people are like, I will do whatever to get this because I want it and there's not a lot of them, right? So some car dealers really took advantage of that. So I was at Chevy at the time, Tahoes and Suburbans. I was in the DC market. Tahoes and Suburbans, $10,000 over MSRP all day long. Like that was like minimum. Corvettes, $30,000 over MSRP. And like literally, if you're like, I don't want to pay $30,000 over sticker, they're like, we don't care, buy, because somebody else will. We don't want to pay $10,000 over sticker on this Tahoe, or $10,000 over sticker on this Tahoe. Okay, bye. Like somebody else will. Like they're not negotiating with you. They don't care because there's people coming in all the time, and there are no cars. So it's like if you want a car, you gotta pay or like buy because somebody else will. So like as a district manager, I'm like, everybody make your money. However, let's not get greedy because this is gonna bite us in a couple of years. Like, do not act crazy. So I had some dealers who were like more sensible than others. Some like really went to the extreme. We're like, we're gonna get every single penny we can out of these people. We don't care. But then you know what happened a couple years later is that number one, when people wanted to when people wanted to like get a new car and trade that car in, there was so much negative equity. And negative equity is the difference between what you owe on the car and what the car is worth. So let's say you paid $10,000 over sticker on that Tahoe. Let's say it's been 2 years and now your Tahoe is worth $30,000, but you still owe $40,000 on it because you put that extra $10,000 in your loan. You got to come up with $10,000 or they're going to roll that $10,000 into your next car loan. So your next car payment's going to be really high because you're paying the car like price plus $10,000 from your old car that you traded in, right? So that's what happened. Basically everybody's car was like everybody had negative equity, so people were trying to come in and like buy new cars and trade their cars that they got in during COVID, but they couldn't because they way overpaid for these cars, and so they couldn't afford the new car payment. And they're like, I'm not gonna give you $10,000. I don't have $10,000 to give you. So it bit us because it's like, had we not charged all this extra money, then guess what? 3 years down the line, we could sell more cars. So literally, like, my stores were really having trouble. I was at Nissan at this time. Like, we were having trouble, and like all the time, my like managers would just be like, yeah, like I have people come in, but they're so buried. Like, they owe so much more than what these cars are worth right now that there's no way we can get them into a new car. So again, that's that like overcharging, getting greedy. Plus, do you think that you're gonna be like, oh, I love that dealership, I definitely want to go back, when they're like, girl, we don't care, you better pay $10,000 over sticker. You're like, but I don't think that's fair. And they're like, well, too bad, like we can't, so we're going to. Like, no, it's a one and done. Like, okay, I didn't have any other options because there's like no cars out there, but now guess what? Supply is back up here, demand's down here because the economy's crazy. So it's like, I can get that Tahoe anywhere else. I'm not going back there because last time I went there, they charged me $10,000 more. So you just lost the sale. Plus, they're probably going to badmouth you to everybody they know. Like, guess what? They charged me $10,000 more and this truck was worth, and they didn't even have to do that. So that's what I talked about. Like, with pricing, it's so, so, so important that you know, like, the perceived value, you research the market to know like what standard, and you be reasonable and not think that you have to make every single like dollar off of like one or two people, because it can really like bite you long term. So I just went a whole detour on pricing, and I can like go into that more if you guys want to talk about that more at some point. But again, like just with tax time, think about how you can put your best foot forward, because everybody's competing right now for that money. So make sure that marketing and advertising is tight. You have like a strategy. Like, yes, people use social media, but do you have like, you know, your email list, or text messages, phone numbers for text messages, like Google My Business, are you using that? I know people probably don't necessarily like paid ads. Paid ads are nice, because like you can target people and you can get very specific. The internet is great because you can get very, very, very granular and specific, and talk to the people who are going to identify. Like, the thing that we used to talk about in like marketing and advertising in the car business is like the shotgun approach, where you just shoot and it just goes everywhere, and you're just like, hopefully this hits somebody, right? But that's a waste of your money. So we want like efficient marketing and advertising. Efficient means that like you're spending less money because you're putting the right message in front of the right person. Like, let's say I get an ad about hunting. I'm like, I don't care. I'm never going to like buy your hunting equipment because I don't go hunting. Now, if you send me an ad about like a setting powder, something, I'm like, hold on. And because like the internet knows that I love like a good like deal, you like really highlight how great of a value this is. The internet knows that like blurring is huge for me. So you're like, this is blurring, this is a great value. And you know, the internet knows everything about me because the internet's a scary thing. But it's great for marketing and advertising because it allows you to get very, very, very granular. So you can say, okay, so I'm selling this setting powder that is a banana powder, and it's blurring and it's a great value, it's an affordable powder. I want somebody who really cares about that, who's really into Mika, and those are the only people I want to get my ads. And so instead of like spending money to like tell some man who does not care about setting powder about setting powder, you're only getting girls like me who are gonna be like, hold on, I want this. But again, just make sure like everything is aligned. Like, your website. Make sure that you're really like going through your website, making sure that that's all fine-tuned, making sure that your messaging is cohesive, making sure that the user experience on your website is fine. Because there have been times that I've been like about to buy something, but like the website was so hard to like use, I was like, screw it, I'm not doing it. So customer experience is key. And again, like just think about all the different ways. I like a very like comprehensive approach. So outside of like traditional social media, like, you know, an Instagram and TikTok, YouTube is great. Again, think about what's going to resonate with your customer. So again, I talk about makeup because that's just my lane. But if you're selling makeup, then like reviews are great, but like really like have videos showing us like how it works. I want to see, if you tell me this powder is blurring, you better show me some pores, and then you better put powder on, I better not see those pores. That kind of thing. So just, you know, like I said, put your best foot forward, actually like come up with a plan, and have goals. Like if you want to do X number of, you know, dollars, how many sales does that mean of each product? And how many people, if you know like your closing rate and your conversion rate, you know, that kind of thing. You can back into like how many people you need to reach if you know your conversion rates, if you know your closing rates, and you know what your goals are. You know how many people you need to target to hit those goals, versus just like, oh, it'd be really cool if I could sell 50. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So yeah, so I just talked a whole lot, but I hope that that helps. I think that I said I wanted to like put something out that's timely, even though it touches on a few different topics. I will go more in depth into each of these, like in their own videos, because they're all kind of lengthy. We can talk like in depth about all that stuff. I have a free like founder's guide now that I think is kind of like the blueprint, and I'll be putting together more guides, like free of course, because I like sincerely want to help. Again, like if you say, hey, this girl knows her stuff and I feel like she can help me grow my business, then definitely you can hire me for one-on-one coaching. But I get it, you might not be in that position financially, or like you, I mean, everybody's a coach with no experience, no training, no nothing. So I get you can be skeptical, so you might want to look at my stuff to even see like, does this girl actually know what she's talking about? Does it align with like how I view business? Because the thing about business is it's not like math. Math, it's like there is a formula, there is one way to do it. Business, there's not. And that's like what's great about business is that, I mean, yes, there are fundamentals of business, like basics, but how everybody approaches business is different. Their strategies are different. The way they interpret and analyze things different. So if kind of my thought process and how I see business aligns with you, then let's talk. You can hire me and it'll be great. So I do want to add that the Flourish Path, like it's a holistic approach. So yes, like at the core of it, I guess you would say like coaching for entrepreneurs. Yes, absolutely. But I also offer, I love makeup. I also offer makeup tutorials, makeup recommendations. If you ever want to talk about makeup, like I don't charge for it because I love makeup. Then we could do that. And then same thing with fashion, like especially when it comes to like a cute like business look. I really struggled with like how do you stay like stylish and fashionable but like professional. So kind of like my tips and tricks, my favorite stores. I haven't been updating my site because I've been going through it. But I'll be updating my site with like recommendations because I am very much like a luxe, but like on a budget type of girl, like looks for less. So like I'm gonna be sharing recommendations that are affordable. Like I always shop clearance first, don't care. So I'll be giving lots of recommendations. And again, like if you just want to like chat about like, hey, where are you finding cute like trouser pants for work, whatever, we can do that free, whatever. I enjoy it. I also offer, I was in the car business for 12 years. I know all the tips and tricks on getting the best deal on a car, when to buy cars, what to say, what not to say, how dealerships make money. So the things that people always say online, like, oh, you walk in there and tell them that you're not financing with them. Guess what? They make a kickback when you finance with them. So if you tell them that you're not financing with them, they know they're not getting a kickback from you. So they're gonna be less likely to discount the car. Stop spreading false information. So I have a page. You can, like, you don't need to pay for it or anything. I just feel really bad seeing so much like horrible information online that I literally made a page all about like buying a car, what you should and shouldn't say. Like, here's the time to buy a car. Here are all the tips and tricks. What's leasing? All the good things. What are all the different terms on your contract so you at least know what you are signing? Just to educate the girlies. But if there's any other topic that you can think of, like I want to make more of these videos because again, like if you want to hire me, you want to work one-on-one for me so I can like work on you and your needs and your business specifically, then yay. You can find me at theflourishpath.net. You can read all about me and see what I offer. But if not, and you're like, listen, I can figure it out, just help me, like, give me free materials and I'll figure it out. That's cool too. Do you? So I really appreciate you, and I sincerely hope that you have an amazing tax season and that your business does very, very, very well. Thank you.